Hello, and welcome
Hello.
to the 10th edition of Mujeres y Humos on savvy.co by Hostess with the Mostess. And today we have a special guest. Well, they're all special in their own way. And we have Syafiera Rosidi.
Yeah.
You see,
Rosidi, yeah,
she taught me, she said, okay, the way that you can pronounce my name is think about Shakira, and then
yeah.
you
What's she
say
doing?
Shakira Safira.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh,
Well, welcome, Safira, on
hello.
my live stream podcast. Thank you for accepting the invite. I know it's been with the holidays and starting the new year and trying to get acquainted with um, openings and stuff like that. It can get a little crazy.
Hmm.
She just got off from work, rushing to be on time for this live. So I thank you so much for being here with us. And just give a little bit of introduction of our platform. If you are connecting for the first time and you are watching this live through our Facebook page, Hostess with the Mostess, or savvy.co on Facebook, that's great. But you can also click on the link and register with your email. It's absolutely free, and you can join us on the savvy.co platform. That way, you can post your questions either to me or to our guest, Safira, and we'll be happy to answer or respond your questions or any, any inquiries that you might have. So, anyway, on the bottom of that screen, you're going to see that says chat. You can click on chat, make comments, say where you're from, where you're joining us from, where you're connecting from. Or if you go to ask a question, you can place your questions right there and I'll see that. So I'll try my best to keep track with all this. Um, if you do make any questions or comments from the Facebook page, I'll look at that at the end, towards the end of the live, and I'll address those questions and comments afterwards. Well, then now, thank you and welcome, Safira. And I'm gonna just let Safira introduce herself, who she is, what she does, and let's start from there. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm Syafiera. At the moment, I am a cigar sommelier in the middle of London in a private members club. And basically, I serve cigars to the many different members of all types of caliber as well. So yeah, that's pretty much me. At the moment, it's just like everything's in lockdown in London, unfortunately. So I'm doing something else just to occupy myself at the moment. But as soon as the doors open in the bars, then we're back at it as well. So mostly Cuban cigars, but I do like to smoke non-Cuban, try everything Nicaraguan, Dominican, and all that jazz. So yeah.
Ah, nice. And
Yeah.
how do you start? How do you first? Let's start talking about how or when you started smoking cigars. That's a classic question
So
right there.
yeah. So this one's a funny one. So it was about 2008, 2009. I was with someone who was into there with cigars and whiskey and wine, and I just started there. Like the very first ones I remember was those box press Villigers that you get for like are particularly cheap, really easy and all right smoking. And then the obsession got more and more and more closer to it. 2017 was the first time I actually worked as a cigar sommelier. So that was the first time I knew nothing at that time. I just basically said, I'm really open to learning. I worked at a bar called the Puffin Rooms in Liverpool in the UK. And they had a back bar of 200 plus different individual whiskies, as well as an amazing collection of Cuban and non-Cuban cigars as well. So that's where I learned my craft. Recently, I moved to London. When I say recently, 2019, and I then found my another job as a cigar sommelier down here. Absolutely fun. No 2 days are no 2 days are the same, and you do get to meet a lot of interesting characters as well whilst you're being a cigar sommelier. So it's so much fun. It's just, I think about 10 years ago, I never thought I'd end up doing what I do now. And I don't regret anything at all. So it's pretty cool.
So it will be safe to say that you found your passion.
I did, yeah. So my passion was always been food and drink, and then in hospitality, I didn't go into I fell into hospitality accidentally, like most people, and then I got obsessed with coffee, food, wine, and then just like obviously from all there, I went on to get into cigars. First a hobby, then something that I really wanted to get into. So it's just that's where I'm at the moment. At the moment, I was supposed to go for the Habanos, Master Habanos that is happening in the UK. So it's a qualification, a certification for UK cigar sommeliers to take. And if you pass the Master Habanos, you get access to more things, more learning as well. And it's just like opens up a lot of doors for you. So that's where I'm hoping to be at in the next 6 months at the moment. So when everything's open up again. Yeah.
So in the Europe market, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the Europe market mostly consumes a lot of Cuban cigars.
Absolutely, it's like it's part of the heritage. So
yeah,
it's part of the heritage, the history as well, and it's just like there's just a set. It's like the elite of Europe itself are all about Cuban cigars as well. It's just like it's a premium product, it's a luxury product. Cigars in the UK are still seen as luxury products, even though we have ones that are more affordable. And when it comes to cigars, all people think of as Cuban. And it's just like, it's not a bad thing as well, but it'd be good to educate people a bit more on the ones outside of Cuba itself as well, because there are plenty that are amazing. So,
and on that note, just wanted to share with everyone that when I extend an invitation to one of our sisters of the leaf to join me talking about women and cigars and pairings and such, I always give them the opportunity to be the one to choose which cigar and which cocktail spirit they will prefer. That gives me the opportunity to try something that I otherwise were not had the opportunity or thought about, because there's so many, right? So many cigars, so many brands out there, and some are not available everywhere. So talking about that, you selected the El Viejo Continente, Mare Nostrum, and we don't have that here in Puerto Rico yet. So I had to order mine. I ordered it. Yeah, I ordered it through Neptune Cigars.
Okay.
I ordered it through them. Yep. And so sometimes I do that. You know, if it's not available here, I get it somewhere else or something similar within that line. Very impressed with their wrap, you know, the design, the details, the little tail thing, the pigtail
I love the
it's
cute.
so beautiful. Just amazing. Actually, I already smoked it earlier for the first time, and I was super, super impressed. You know, like when you lit up a cigar for the first time and you get the reaction of, oh, it's nice, it tastes good, it has a nice aroma, and you go like, or like that. But then there are times when you get a smoke and you go like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And it's a wow for me. It might not be a wow for somebody else. It depends on our palate, right? But for me, it got that wow effect, something that I have not come across in other cigars in a while, actually. So I was
very different. Yeah.
Yes. So talk to us why you chose this one to be featured on our live today.
So it's with the El Viejo Continente series as well. We have two of the El Viejo Continente in the UK exclusively, which is the Mare Nostrum Robusto, and we also have the Robustum, and there's another one as well, the El Viejo Lancero. So the one I wanted to pick was something quite smooth, quite rich as well, but it's like quite subtle and silky on the palate. And I wanted to pick I wanted to pair it with the Sazerac as well, because Sazerac is a big, heavy cocktail, but it's also quite feminine as well in a strange way. And this is just the type of stick that would actually go well with it. And also it's quite unique in the fact that it's weird. It's like, it's medium to full body. It's still quite soft, still silky. But it's like, it's not something that you call light at all. It's just it's like smooth dark chocolate is the best way I could describe it in a cigar, and so many other things as well. So pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised when I smoked it. And
Nice.
I did the cocktail.
Yeah.
And I had previously already shared that I'm not on my palate, I don't tend to go towards too bitter cocktails, and especially because in this case I have absinthe. The Sazerac cocktail has an absinthe wash. So I have this one.
I think I've got the same.
Maybe in the past, whoever prepared the cocktail for me, maybe they used a little bit too much.
You only need 5 ml. Yeah.
And it depends. So preparing it myself, I went very easy with the absinthe. I mean, it's a wash. It's just to have like a light covering inside your glass.
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah. Don't go crazy about it, because it's not supposed to like really be completely part of the cocktail. It's just for the essence and the aroma more than anything, right?
Some I've seen some bars use a spray, so they actually give you a spray to spray the cocktail, which I think is good. But I think the entire point of the absinthe is it sticks to the glass when it's cold as well. So it's all about surface area. This is like how, I mean, there's like more in-depth, crazy sciencey thing to it, but I found the best one is to coat the actual inside of the glass rather than spray it or add it to the cocktail. So that
exactly.
That's what we're talking about as well. Yeah. I think that's what we're talking about as well with the Sazerac. People think it's hard, but until you actually get explained it, you can't be given the recipe and then figure it out. You have to be told this is how you actually serve it as well. So still my damn favorite cocktail in the world. Oh, good.
It was amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start lighting up my cigar so we can start talking about it a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we'll get to know you more as well.
I mean, even on the dry draw, it's quite sweet as well, but subtle.
Yes, it is. It is. Actually, I mean, it's a cigar that I will be more than happy to have it as my first smoke of the day in the morning.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
At any time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to look smart here. I'm actually running low on fuel, so I'm using this as well just to light it.
Actually, that's one of the ways that it's the most preferred, right?
I mean, it doesn't really, I mean, in the end, it doesn't actually matter that much. It's just one's more time consuming than the other, and it's more tradition as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like in the Master of Habanos exam, one of them is a practical, and you're given several different, lighting devices as well, with one of them being the spill. But it's one of those, you're going to stand there explaining to your examiner what you're going to do, and then lighting it can take ages to do it probably. So you can do it well.
I'm telling you, I can become addicted to this particular cigar, and I'm not
amazing.
It's just amazing. I'm not too much of a on the pepper spicy cigar. That's not my forte. I'm more on flavor, round flavors. This one is right up my alley.
I was going to say, I don't know, suppose you're into the Padrons then, if it's a little bit too spicy.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, almost there. Almost there. I think the first time I did this, and I almost set my sleeve on fire, but that was like the very first time I was a cigar smoker. Gotta learn. You gotta learn somehow. You know what I mean?
Accidents do happen.
Exactly.
What
I like
about
that.
what habit has happened to you that you're distracted and all of a sudden when you're gonna get a puff, you go the other way, the other side?
I've seen someone accidentally
Little
light the
foot?
wrong end.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I think the best part is I've seen someone light a cigar and then say it's not working. It's like, have you cut the end? It's like, oh, all right. It's like, yeah, it happens as well. So you can't, yeah. I think like I think the one I haven't had an accident with cigar, but I have had times where I get home, I'm exhausted, start a cigar and almost set myself on fire because I've fallen asleep with it. Oh my
Oh my
God, it's
God.
just like once and that's it. No more after that.
No, no, no.
Mm.
So what about when you started, especially on working at a big city? Well, not I didn't mean like big city, but period, the city,
Mm.
London.
Yes.
What's the
So
experience like to be working at a very exclusive cigar lounge? I mean,
yeah,
when you said before the characters that you encounter every day, I
characters.
mean, but
Yeah.
these are not your average. I mean, these are people that
Millie.
how been that experience? First, being a female,
Yeah.
you're in your early 30s, right? Something
I
around
just
there.
turned 30. Yeah, I just turned
Yeah,
30.
right. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You see.
It's all right.
Um, how's that been for you?
Well, to start off, before the Private Members Club as well. What we actually before I worked there, I worked in another place as well in Liverpool, and then Northwest isn't big on the actual. Wasn't big on cigars. It was more of a what's the word again? It was more like it wasn't a regular thing. It was more like a nighttime treat. It's like, you go there for your birthdays and your stag do's and that as well. So I was very used to selling mid-range cigars. We're talking about nothing more than £10, £15, if they're pushing it £30, and
Hmm.
working in an exclusive place as well. I've seen people pay so much more for it as well, and just kind of like, and I had to get used to understanding the more premium prices as well, the more
Yeah.
premium limited editions, the rarest cigars, and it was just like that was mind blowing. So to start off as well, I used to smoke. I tried cigars that were basically box fresh or were like still within 6 months of actually coming in from Cuba. This time around, it was just like some of the oldest I've tried a 20-year-old cigar, and oh my God, I started to understand why people paid such high prices for it. That aging, the way that it's been stored, the heritage behind it, the history behind that particular cigar storage as well, that can affect the final product. So if you know what I mean, and it's just like I had to get used to it as well. So I had to get used to being confident in saying I know what the cigar is because I've actually smoked it as well. So I got to try things that I would never have tried before because I wouldn't have been able to pay for it. And it's just like there've been times where it's like the most amazing thing as well is most, if not all, cigar smokers are quite generous. I've had times where it's just like I've served a few people and they say, "Do you want to try this?" It's like, of course, I want to try it as well. And it'll be
Or
like, exactly. It can be like the 3-digit cigars where it's just kind of like I would never pay that because I'd have left it for a special treat, and to actually get to try that, it's just an amazing experience as well. London is that type of place to actually experience that particular thing as well. But you have to gain their trust at the moment as well. So it's understanding your guests, understanding those members, understanding what their needs are as well, and then going from there and just being able to experience that basically as well. But it was a
now,
big adjustment. Yeah.
no,
Hmm?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what were you going to ask?
So besides giving recommendations, right, on which cigar to enjoy while they're visiting, at the members club. Um, do you also do recommendations depending on what they're gonna have for dinner? What they serve food as well, right?
They said no.
No.
It's the lounge itself is only drinks only as well. So
Okay.
usually they'll ask for a cigar before dinner or after dinner, and it can be all over the place. Some people will. I don't know how familiar you are with like the limited editions or like the Cubans as well. So some people have like a Cohiba Robusto Supremos from 2014 before dinner, and then somebody will have a H&H Corona as well. So it just depends. It's like there's certain guests who always pick the same cigars, which is understandable, and there's other guests that will say surprise me, and it's just like it's like which one do you do? Which one do you do? So you have to get confident with knowing what they're into and what they're like as well. So that's also part of tasting what you're going for as well. It's pretty cool.
And not only that, but I would say be confident in yourself and
That's
your knowledge, your expertise that you are recommending when they tell you, oh, go, you select for me, you give me your recommendation, and you don't want to mess that up. You don't want to mess up their evening or their experience before or after dinner. I mean, it's very, very important. It's not something to take lightly.
Absolutely.
Like maybe you tell me, when people say, what do you do? And you say, well, I'm a cigar sommelier. Do they look at you strange? They're like, is that a real job?
I stupidly, it's like I find it that I anticipate people's reactions as well, and I should stop doing that and just confidently say it. But it's just like obviously it is a job that is at first people will say it's like, oh, it's great, and then they don't really click until like 5 minutes later. It's like, oh, a cigar sommelier, and it's just like I don't like saying it because I feel like I'm showing off, but then at the same time I need to sort of be comfortable saying I'm a cigar sommelier. You have to take it as it is as well. I was going to say, going back to the whole confidence thing as well. So when I started off in 2017 working with cigars, I had no clue. I just liked the ones I liked. After that, what I actually found once I got confident was then going past the barrier that I had, which was people not expecting me to know cigars because I was a girl. And I obviously I also look young, so they don't take me seriously. So I would try to recommend things that my colleagues would recommend, but because they're male, they're more likely to be receptive of them. And it's just kind of like I had to get past that and just like I realized that people still have that stereotype, not because they're terrible people, it's because that's just the way things are. People still think that cigar smoking is for 70-year-old men and it's just like with like loads of money. It's like, that's not, you still get like 18, 19, 20-year-olds as well smoking it, women smoking it as well, but it's still, I suspect, fetishized it's a little bit as well, which, that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like we still need to break down the stereotypes so that women can confidently smoke cigars without feeling like they're being seen as a certain way, if that makes sense. So that's the other barrier I wanted to draw. Yeah. So being a female cigar sommelier, it was difficult at first because obviously I was still learning, and anyone who was also male in my position would still be learning. But because I was female, it was more difficult to get it's more difficult for people to understand that I knew. You know what I mean? So, and it's just like I had to get past that barrier myself and say to myself, like, don't get pissed off at them because of it. It's just the way people are. So the more and more I want to talk about it, the more I can basically confidently say I'm a cigar sommelier without having to push for that as well. That makes sense. So
yes.
Yeah.
There's a self-satisfaction that comes with that. I mean, I do not use the title cigar sommelier because first I have not particularly taken any classes, or I don't do that for a living.
Okay.
But I've had already several opportunities to carry through events where I come up with cocktails or several cocktails that I believe that will be very interesting to pair. Something that is a contrast and a well thought out similar profile to the cigar that is going to be enjoyed during that evening, or something that could go very well with any cigar that might be available in that realm. So when you get that feedback from the attendees and they go like, wow, that cocktail was amazing. That I love so much. And particularly when there's cocktails that are not commonly paired with cigars, like for instance, a mojito.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mojito, it has mint. How can that work with a cigar? Well, of course, yes. And the thing is that one of the elements that a lot of people get to miss a lot is these tobacco leaves are basically developed, they grow in warm climates in the Caribbean, in South America, Central America, for the most part. And what is it that we produce in these areas? Sugar cane, rum, cachaça, pisco, which is the skin of the grape, and things like that. So yes, they aren't meant to work together. Opposite to whiskey, the bourbons and the rye, which they're perfect as well. But the things that it with time, and I think it also has to do with marketing, I guess. I don't know.
I think, I mean, the thing is as well, people don't realize that with cigars, it's like, I think a lot of people box off cigars as tobacco flavor or chocolate or spice or wood or nuts. And those like 4 flavors are what people always seem to think with cigars as well. So like cigars intimidate people because they think, oh, I need to get all these flavors. The weird thing is, since I've been smoking like more intensely since last year, I've been getting like acidity, lemon zest, lime pith, marshmallow. Marshmallow is a big one with certain cigars as well. And people don't realize like why marshmallow. The thing that people don't realize is it's not just flavor. The predominant effect is texture. So what it feels like in your mouth, because the thing is, cigar is something that you consume, but it's all to do with how it feels in your mouth. It's like one that particularly surprised me was El Viejo Robustum, El Viejo Continental Robustum. When I smoked that, it was spicy. But it wasn't just spicy, it basically coated the inside of my gums. So I could feel that like sort of like in my gums, in my lip, in my lips, in my tongue, everywhere. This Mare Nostrum, it gets more concentrated down the middle of your tongue. And it sort of like doesn't really sit, it doesn't do much around here, but it's just very, very subtle around there. So when you actually try it, that's why it's so silky as well. When you feel it on your gums, it's like, you know what I mean? But this is like, it sits like, I mean, like the biggest thing I got out of this as well on my notes was that it's basically like sugar syrup, like honey, like maple syrup. It just sort of just sits and then doesn't really, it doesn't excite. It just literally just massages the inside of your mouth.
It's interesting. It's like a soft massage.
Yes, that one. Oh yeah, basically like a sensual massage. Yeah, I actually wrote that down last night. I think I had about 3 drams of whiskey by then. It's like sensual massage. It's like my notes are just completely, I can read it, but it's that's how it went. So
yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. When we're describing cigars, it's not all the time about flavor. It's about texture. What it reminds us in regards to texture.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the first thing, like I told you before, was like milk chocolate when it's really creamy.
It's almost like hot chocolate, but like not hot chocolate. I mean, like the thing, the person I have to give credit to about texture. Now, this is really strange. Have you ever heard of the WSET, which is the Wine and Spirits Education Trust? It's a European qualification. Okay. So I did the WSET level 2 in wine, I think back in 2013. Now the weird part is as well, for some crazy reason, I had this bright idea of going to this natural wine shop in Liverpool. And I said to him, it's like, look, I'm trying to learn about wine. I have no idea where I'm going here. Can I just sit in your shop and listen to you talk about wine? And he said, yeah, that's weird, but okay. So we did that one day a week. And after a couple of days, he actually said to me, it's like, Syafiera, it's like, how do you taste wine? It's like, you got flavor, gooseberries and all that, and blackberries. He said, what you need to think about is texture. And it was just like, from then on, everything clicked from 2013 onwards. When it came to food and wine drink, the reason why I was so descriptive with what I was consuming was all to do with that one guy, Devon Stewart, as well, if he's ever seen this, from just telling me about that. And so it's just, I owe him a lot to that, despite the fact all I did was sit in his shop and then just doss off for like 8 hours. So yeah, it's awesome. It's like, and that's the guy I owe a lot to as well. I hope he's hearing this. So yeah.
Interesting, because that's how I started. I started with wine. In my mid-20s.
Sorry. Ooh,
my mid-20s, looking
Yeah.
for a job and whatnot, and got to take this training to become a wine broker. And sure enough, it's several things that are taught during that training, and one of them is texture, right?
Yeah.
So all that, without knowing what's going to happen 10, 20 years later.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's how I started. And I started with wine, especially white wine and so forth. And when I would travel, I will always seek wines to bring back home and things of that nature. And then from there, I moved into cocktails. That was a whole different experience.
Yeah.
But throughout all that time, I used to smoke cigars since I was 21 years old, once in a blue moon, here and there, whatever. I never connected it. I never connected it for whatever reason. The only time that I did connect to something at some point, already in my 30s, was with port wine.
Okay.
And that will be the only thing that I will drink alcohol content wise, will be a port wine with my cigar. That will be it. Never experimented with anything else, not even coffee. So yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up about the wine. That's what taught you about more in depth about how to experience the cigars. So it's I believe, at least that's my opinion, that if you have a good base knowledge spirits, distilled spirits, and from there on cocktails, and you educate your palate and what is it that you like and what it does when you're smoking cigars, it helps you be able to pair than if it's the other way around.
Exactly.
At least that was my experience. And
it's interesting you say that as well. So it's just like, obviously, because like in my education with hospitality since 2012, I actually found that it's weird. There's this thing where bartenders in the UK, at least, bartenders know about the spirits, but never seem to know much about wine as well. But when you get a sommelier, they know the spirits, but like, also know their wine. So there's like, it's mad to see like the difference in discipline as well with cigars. Wine sommeliers do get into cigars as well, but and then I find like bartenders also get into it, but like on a different perspective. So it's just like, it's always lovely to listen to like both perspectives and see where people see it. I know someone who's big on their spirits, but wine wise, it's like not as much. And it's like, I love the fact I can sort of connect all those disciplines together, but it's just, I want to find more people who can do that with me as well. So it's like, the more I want to like discuss with this, the more I want to sort of like open up more a conversation about all that as well. Because I think we can go past having cigars with just pepper, chocolate, wood as like our single like flavor profiles as well.
Yes. And what I love a lot about pairing is that, for instance, we're going to be pairing this with a Sazerac cocktail, but you can later pair it with any other spirit, and it's going to provide you a different experience, a different taste, texture, flavor, everything. The parameters are going to change completely, obviously. So, and that is so much fun. That's so much fun, because you're like, oh, let me see how this is going to go. And it's not only, at least for me, it's not only about the whole process of being relaxed and enjoying it, but also discovery,
Mm,
being an
absolutely,
enjoyment.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's much
I
more
mean,
for me.
it's being adventurous as well. So it's just like, I think a lot of people are scared of being adventurous. So they take recommendations from people where they think they know. But at the same time, people are scared to like invest, like maybe instead of paying £15 for a cigar, they're scared of investing £30 or £40 in case they don't like it. And
Uh-huh.
I think also, I think people also need to, if they have the money to pay for it, I think also price point shouldn't be an issue, if that makes sense. I know I can't say that for everyone, but
Mhm.
you can't judge a cigar by its price point, because sometimes you get some of the most amazing cigars for £15 and you can
Yeah,
get some of the worst cigars for like 85, £150. And then
that's
it's the other way
correct.
around. It's all to do with experience and being open to actually trying that as well. And that's the thing that people get scared of as well. And it's just like it's unfortunate because you stop yourself from trying so many different things.
Hmm.
So,
I totally agree with you. Well, I'm
hmm
gonna start. Let's start putting together the
that's
cocktail. What do you think?
yes, please.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go get my chilled rock glass. It's been
yeah.
chilling. Yes.
Ah, hang on. I've only got brandy glass, unfortunately, so that's gonna have to do for my Saturday.
So here's the chilled glass. Gonna just a little bit of the accent.
hmm So
To
have
create
some
that
thin.
little, that coat.
hmm So I've got absinthe in, ice, and a little bit of
Yes.
water as well, just to keep that.
I'm gonna put it aside there. So I'm gonna start doing my.
Yeah. It's been ages since I've made a cocktail. Ages.
So this is a console that has equal parts rye whiskey and equal
Yeah.
parts of the cognac.
Yes.
It's 1 1/4 ounce,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the exact measurement right here.
Yeah.
First, oh, I'm having that to chill there a little bit.
I'm gonna make a double, like a large thing, so
Uh-huh. I'll just chill
because
there. So chill.
might as
All
well.
right. So the recipe, at least that I have for the Zazrax that I enjoyed,
Yeah.
is they say a cube of sugar, but in this case, I'm having just the same amount of a cube on an envelope, sugar,
Yeah.
and just like half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of water. Just that's it, water.
I've already made some sugar syrup, so that's mine. Ooh.
The Angostura bitters right there.
See,
2 dashes to 3 is my
I
measurement.
use
The
Peychaud's.
Bishop,
Sorry,
yeah,
Peychaud's.
yes.
So
I did the Angostura that I didn't have the Bishop. And muddle until the sugar dissolves. Love the aroma of the
hmm
bitter.
wish my desk was so much higher than this. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a large serving. Large serving.
Hard day at work.
Mm.
So here goes the rye whiskey. I'm using the Sazerac rye whiskey right here for this
hmm
one. And Oops, sorry. Let me get my cognac.
Have you for later. Got a little bit for later as well to chill, so it's...
Yes. Hennessy is what I'm using. Equal parts.
Got the rest chilled in there as well, so for later. So, proper sweet. Okay, so I've got a bit of lemon twist as well. I'm going to squeeze that over the rim and basically...
Yep, lemon peel.
Oils. I mean, you can drop it in, but like, I just like to...
Yeah, use the oils. Yeah.
That lemon really... The lemon actually picks up in the absinthe, crazily enough. So, so it enhances it. But I can't remember the first time I had the Sazerac. So I used to drink loads of old fashions. I used to drink like, you know, all the usual things that everyone actually also orders. And the Sazerac just came up out of surprise. I was just like, I wanted to try something different. And it was just kind of like, I got taken by it so much. It's been my cocktail to choose when I wouldn't want to go somewhere like that's going to be like amazing. It's like a damn good Sazerac is just amazing. A shit Sazerac is awful. But I think it is like most of my drinking has been in Liverpool, like my hometown. And the first place I got it was a place called Berry and Rye. And basically it's berry as in like juniper berry, and then rye as in rye whiskey. So it was a gin and whiskey bar. And the Sazerac was like the first thing I fell in love with there. And it's just been like my go-to ever since as well. Hence, like on my Instagram account, I pronounce the Cane Sazerac, or pronounce something like that as well. There's a Sazerac where it's there's a C at the end, but I pronounce it in a really Scouse way, Sazerac. So that's how I came by it. So there you are.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God. Yeah. I miss bars. I miss bars in London right now so much.
Wow. Yeah, I love it. It's just
absolutely.
When I did this earlier, I was like, wow, she knows her stuff. Because when you explained it to me, I was like, thinking about that Sazerac that I had once, and then like, but of course I had not tried the cigar yet. So earlier I did it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah.
I like to do the wanky thing, which is hang on. So it's just like a nice little trick that you actually do. It doesn't make any difference at all, but it looks pretty cool. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe less than the sugar syrup for me, but it's just like I'm used to it being like that. But the thing about the Sazerac is, if you leave, because if you serve it properly, absolutely no ice in the glass, it actually warms up over time. So you get the first hit of sweetness, and then as it warms up, you just get all these different flavors over time. So it's a sipping cocktail, and that's what I find beautiful about it as well. Most cocktails people like just throw back because it's like sweet, it's amazing, get all hit. This one, you let it sit, warm up. It is just damn beautiful. I mean, this other cocktail that I would recommend similar to it is a Vucare. I just can't remember what one is in it as well, which is also like another damn good one. But this is like the simple, the finest, like the best, really. Oh my God.
I'm just wonderful. Syafiera, thank you so much.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm glad that you're enjoying it as well.
And not only that, but the aroma. You have the mixture of the lemon, citrus oils with the accent going on when you bring it up to your nose.
Yeah. I mean, before I added the lemon twist as well, I could sort of smell the absinthe, but then it gets
Mhm.
enhanced by the lemon right near the rim. It's like, this is everything I want in a cocktail. Do you know what I mean? God damn. God damn. Yeah. It's like back home as well, I frequented a lot of bars, and it's just kind of like, I know like I'm that kind of person as well, but it's just like when you just fall on something that you just fall in love with it as well, and like once it's made well, it's made well. So.
Yeah, and when you say, you know, about preparing it well, like I had a Zazarak for the first time. Unfortunately, was not in New Orleans. That is on
Oh,
my bucket
I need to
list,
go there.
actually.
Yeah.
But I had it back in Texas, and this place that I went, they were promoting a lot about how they do it and all that. It's the real thing. So I
Yeah.
had it, and I did not enjoy it that much at all. It was very bitter, strong, very spirit forward. I'm like, wow, is this what a Sazerac is all about? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know
One of
any
the things
better.
I reckon, and this is more than likely as well, because I think it's a hard cocktail, what people seem to forget to do is put the sugar in. Now, the thing with sugar syrup is it can be used and abused. Now, the sugar can either be overdone, or people think because a Sazerac is a hard cocktail, they don't put it in at all, forgetting that it's a vital component to the actual cocktail itself.
Mhm.
It's like I taught someone that with old fashions, you have to balance the sugar out. Some people put too much sugar in old fashioned, and it's just literally like
Yeah.
just drinking it's like you have to get it balanced as well. So the
Mhm.
reason why I don't like ordering old fashions from bars is because they overdo the sugar syrup, or they underdo it as well. They put only like about 10 minutes, like half the amount. You have to get it right. You have to keep tasting it as well. And if it's not right, you adjust it and you adjust it as well. So it's like with cocktails, because a lot of cocktail bartenders are like, because a lot of cocktail bartenders, not good ones, can be robots where they think, oh, I need to measure this, measure that, measure this. But sometimes because of the ice could be terrible, so that it can be over diluted or under diluted as well.
Mhm.
And it's like that's the magic of having someone who can actually understand flavor profiles as well. And yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I hope that I'm sort of getting there. It's like when it comes to like food and drink, I have to get it right. I can't serve something without knowing that it's absolutely perfect as well. And
Exactly.
that's a big part of the hospitality for me. Yeah,
No,
it's I'm great. I'm a fantastic host when I'm not pissed half the time as well. Um, like so sorry. Okay, am I allowed to swear?
just sure, go ahead.
Sorry. So no, I'm when it comes to like dinner parties as well, I literally go out. I will take about a week to plan something, and like when I'm working in a restaurant bar, it has to be absolutely right. I can't not have something that's like subpar. You know what I mean? And I think that's what
Mhm.
everyone should think about. So yeah, I'm just so happy I got to actually try this. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And one thing
Uh,
that I always stress out, pretty much in almost all my Mujeres y Humos edition, when we're having these cigar pairing experience on live with other sisters of
mhm.
the league, is that this is not about just pushing out smoke and drinking
No,
to get tipsy or even drunk. It's not about that.
no.
Um, like we said before, it's an experience. For me, it's elevating the experience. And
Absolutely.
there's no other ways to be able to explain it or express it unless you experience it yourself or give
Hmm.
yourself or allow yourself the opportunity to experience it. And I've had a few female friends that has been like, Cynthia, I want to go over there. I want to do what you're doing. I want to experience that. Like, okay, sure. And when we do it and I walk them through the process, they're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
awesome. No wonder you love this stuff. you really enjoy this. I can understand. I can vision it. And so, have you had that opportunity to have females approach you that they're first
Um,
timers or not? Not many. How has it worked for you?
I've made a handful of friends who have been interested to start with the cigar world, but like a lot of my friends, like the circle, like a cigar groups as well, end up being male, and it's just like I think as well being it's because it's I think in the US, the cigar community has more balanced amounts of men. Well, has more women. Um, like a higher percentage of women smoking cigars because it's more accepted there. In the UK, it's still a niche. It's still something that people see as a luxury item. So you don't get a lot of female cigar smellers. And the few ones that you do get as well, it's kind of weird because it's like they're really into it, which is amazing, but there's not enough of us who are into it. So it doesn't feel like a community, if that makes sense. There's still handfuls, but they're all scattered around the UK. And we need to get more women into it. I think it's like the weird thing is as well. What I find really strange is we don't promote women like female celebrities who smoke cigars. There's like Jennifer Lopez is huge on it. Do you know what I mean? Who else is there? I'm just trying to think. It's like
Angelina Jolie also.
yeah,
Demi Moore.
exactly. And it's just there you go. And it's just like I think that the media don't really portray them as cigar smokers. They don't think it's I still think there's a stigma behind it being it's for men. You know what I mean? It's just like you see, like I mean, it's like I found it hilarious on Cigar Aficionado, I think months ago, where one of the Jonas brothers was actually smoking a cigar and it's accepted for him to have it. But it's just like if someone like Demi Lovato was actually smoking it, it doesn't seem as cool. I don't understand, you know what I mean? So it's just like I mean, in a way, like my Instagram account sort of really not shot on popularity. I'm not that great. It's like I got more followers over lockdown because I got bored and I thought I've got loads of cigars. Let's just start making up some random pictures. And it's just like I found more and more people online who actually got into cigars as well. I found a few more female cigar enthusiasts as well, which is great, but they're still few and far between. I feel like it's still a niche and still something that you do on your own because there's not enough women out there who actually get together and say, let's smoke a cigar together and let's just chill. A lot of the time I end up chilling with a lot of male friends as well, and just kind of like that's just the way it is. And you know what I mean? But it would be nice to actually sit down with a girl and just like sort of say, you know, what's up? Let's, you know, get into this cigar. Do you like this taste? And I think we need to break the stereotype. The stereotype is still there in the UK, and we just need to break through and just get that done so that more people enjoy it. And I also think as well, on the male side as well, I think there's also still a stigma about like certain groups or certain classes or certain leagues of people can smoke it. It's like, no, everyone can smoke it. Everyone can sit there and chill and just relax and just say, you know, let's relax with this as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's more accepted to drink loads of wine, but it's not accepted to have a cigar. It's just, I think, and also I think we also need to stop making it as if it's a one-time thing. You can smoke cigars all the damn time, as much as you want, as much as you can afford it. That's all. Like, yeah. I mean, it's like the UK is different from the US, and that's the biggest difference from what you're talking about as well. As someone who's working in the industry, is just yeah. Sorry. No, go on.
But
no,
yet,
I wanna
but yet, in the States and even in the Caribbean, like if I'm in Puerto Rico, I complain. A lot of us women on the Americas complain that there's not many female enjoying cigars.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, and I totally agree. But in comparison, yeah, maybe in comparison, the Americas as a whole compared to Europe, we have a little bit more of a percentage, but still, overall, it's too low. It's too low. They're in hiding, and we need to bring them out, out to really enjoy it. But it also has to do with not only that, but having the proper environment. In my case,
exactly,
I only smoked it once in a blue moon, like I said, but it was at home you know, in the balcony, a little box that I have with a few, what have you, because I wasn't exposed to have cigar lounges that I could feel comfortable going.
Yeah.
And so recently, when I moved back to Puerto Rico in June of 2020, that I came across with cigar lounge that I love. I go all the time, every day. Last night I was there, and then I was like, wow, finally, I'm in heaven. Classic cocktails, cigars, relaxing, luxurious, but at the same time, homey. It's a mix. And they're all great. The owner, the bartenders, I mean, it's just amazing. And the ladies that have been there or that I brought with me or that I've encountered and met there, it's just great. It's just amazing. And we all say the same thing. So it's just about giving it some time, spreading the word around. We will get there.
Yeah, I mean, like I think one of the upsetting things it upsets me on a personal basis because one of the upsetting things whenever I get a woman who comes in with a guy who regularly smokes cigars is the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, give me your girly cigar," and it upsets me because it's two things. Number one, what is a girly cigar? And number two, are you trying to say you want something small and slim? Because small and slim is small and slim, but it's not a girly cigar. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if we break out that stereotype that there's a feminine and masculine cigar, then we can actually get people to try more things as well. Now, a girly cigar might be a Lancero, and a Lancero is what Fidel Castro used to smoke, which is, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's long, it's thin, but he's Fidel Castro. You can't argue with that as well. And yet people still turn to that because they think, oh, it's a girly cigar. Sometimes as well, it's like the most feminine tasting cigars are often the ones you don't actually figure out is a feminine one. So there's one that I always recommend when people say to me, give me your lightest cigar. And it's something called the San Juan de Rio Seco. Have you seen it? It's a big fat cigar. It's a Hoyo de Monterrey cigar, but it's big, it's fat. As soon as you taste it, it's the lightest out of the collection that I have, like in the club that I've been working at. And people get surprised. They think it's like, holy shit, I didn't think it was good. It's like, yeah. So if you take away the stereotype of what you think a girly cigar is, then you start actually tasting more as well and stopping yourself from tasting it. Like one of the most spiciest cigars I've had is something called the H. Upmann Half Corona. It's a 3.5-inch cigar by 44 ring gauge. Now it's tiny. It's like the shortest cigar on the Habanos portfolio, like the existing one. And every time I smoke it, I keep forgetting it's super, super spicy. But people think because it's small, it's girly, it's not overpowering. It's like, no. I would not recommend that to like a first time. So yeah, I would not recommend it to a first time smoker. But you know what I mean? It's just like, it's taking that away. It's that's why when we were talking about taking away stereotypes, this is what we need to work on as well. You know what I mean?
Actually, I wanted to take the opportunity because we didn't go into those details. This El Viejo Continente Mar Nostrum. We have that the wrapper is Habano, right? And the binders are Nicaraguan Habano, and the filler is Brazil and Condega.
Nice, yeah.
This is El Toro.
Honestly, El Toro.
Yeah. I just love the whole blend of this. I just cannot stress it enough. They've been concentrating so much in building these cigars that are very spicy, peppery, earthy, very intense, which is okay. It's great. But then they think, oh, you want something soft, something mellow for breakfast, what have you, or anytime. Let's use a Connecticut wrapper. Let's do like something smoother, lighter, whatever. But no, I mean, you can actually have something that gives you that flavor, but also be soft. And that's where the blender comes in, right? Selecting the right leaf to provide that specific blend for the perfect vitola, because the vitola also plays a part in how you're going to experience that blend. There are certain blenders that they only use one vitola for that blend. You don't like Churchill's? Tough, because that's the only one they're going to find on that blend. You don't like Lanceros?
Exactly.
You don't like Robustos? They'll choose one vitola for that specific blend. And there's more than one blender out there in the market that's their philosophy, and they go by that. And there's a reasoning for that, actually.
Yeah, what was the reason?
It impacts the flavor, the intensity
Exactly.
of the cigar.
I mean, like one of my mentor at the moment, who's my boss in work as well, actually told me something that I should know, but until he pointed it out, wasn't as obvious. He basically said to me, it's like with cigars, the thing about cigars is they can actually be unpredictable, because each cigar is hand rolled by each individual. A bottle of wine is made in a big vat or big barrel, and then is then like produced as it is. So each bottle from each vintage, from each producer, can all be consistently the same from that particular year. Each cigar can always be like, ever so slightly different, but still the same blend as well. But it's just like that blend can be ever so slightly different from each cigar as well. And this is what I love about cigars, not just even predictability. It's like no two cigars are practically the same. And that's what I love about it as well. It's like, it's Cuban cigars have notoriety for being a bit crazy, but at the same time, you still have this amazing flavor. And then it's just like you have like everything where outside of Cuba as well, which has millions of different combinations. And it's just like, I think outside of Cuba, like the wrappers give more flavor, whereas in Cuba, it's less flavor, more the filler itself. And I love about that as well. It's like there's so much to explore with cigars. It's just like people need to open their eyes to all this variety as well, which is what it's like. There's so many things you can talk about it as well. And I think I think in a way it's like it's a little bit harder for a cigar sommelier to actually always be correct in their flavor profile, but you can still get the autonomous like range of flavors into that one particular like vitola basically. So yeah.
I mean, let's use Lanceros as an example, right? Lanceros, they're long, they're thin, and they tend to confuse. Oh, that's like a girly, like you said earlier. Let me tell you, Lanceros are nothing to joke about at all. They'll kick your butt. Okay. And if they're not, the weight is not perfect. If they're not rolled and pressed the right way, the draw gets affected, the flavoring gets affected. I mean, and then it's no good. So I mean, and the rollers, there are specific rollers just to do Lanceros. That's it.
Yes.
They specialize in doing just rolling Lanceros. So it's something that you gradually get to that level, because not anybody can do that.
Because you've got more surface to actually roll. So if your hand has to roll evenly throughout, and then you have to have it at a thin ring gauge as well. So it's like it's so easy to get a Lancero where it's blocked, and it's like the most frustrating thing. But when you get a beautiful Lancero, it is just incredible, absolutely incredible. The same with like the Prominentes size in Cuba. It's like you have your Lusitanos. You have your Ramonillos Gigantes, you have the Hoyo double Coronas, and it's just kind of like, it can be, it's not hard to sometimes get like one that's plugged, but when you get one, it's just like you have 2 to 3 hours of like a beautiful smoke as well. So it's like,
I smoked an LFD, La Flor Dominicana. The Lancero Tri Ligero. And it tells you actually recommended to have solid dinner before smoking that. So I follow the instructions. I follow the instructions. The good thing I did. I enjoyed it so much, but wow. And I smoked that before going to bed. I mean,
what time did you go to bed?
Yeah, right. But I didn't have any problems going to bed, actually. But wow. I mean, it will forever remain in my mind and my memory about
Yeah.
that experience. Um, yeah, it's we have some comments here that I'm seeing. David Clark Wayne
Yeah.
says lanceros are delicious and will kick your ass. Yes. Love endurance cigars. Yes. I mean, they are nothing to joke about. So, but it all goes into education. You know, you have to take
Absolutely.
everything with salt or grain, or grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the other way around, grain
Grain
of
salt. Yeah,
salt
no.
of
It's good.
who is
Yeah.
saying what, because you know it's something that you learn with time.
Yeah.
Um, and whoever tells you that they know everything that has to do with cigar, that they're an expert, right there, they're telling me that
No,
they
I
don't know
don't.
nothing. They don't know
Hmm.
nothing. Because things are being produced every day, something new, and you're gonna come
Yeah.
across with a cigar that's just gonna blow your mind away when you least
Exactly.
expect it.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're making yourself, oh, she's doing a second
No,
round.
I had to.
No,
I had
still have,
to.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I mixed a quart, a quadruple. So it's just like that's the second one I actually did.
Nice.
Forward planning. Forward planning before I fall on my face. So yeah,
So have
I'm
you
good in the
had,
first. Yeah,
have
go.
you thought about at some point like expand
Hmm.
um your expertise? Okay, so you work at that members club, but have you
Yeah.
thought at some point maybe expand and use your experience and knowledge into building a business of your own, maybe giving classes?
Absolutely. Well, not giving classes per se. Now, for
Mhm.
myself, my personal thing, for a very long time, I've always wanted to open my own bar, and then possibly like a restaurant after that, depending on how good the bar is. So I would love to do. My goal is to possibly get a 20-seater bar with a mini humidor as well, and then like basically pinchos type food as well. And that's the thing. But I never. I mean, I'd teach more for passion rather than as a business as well. For me, I don't. It's more for me on a personal basis. It's more organic for me to teach someone who's working with me to give
Mhm.
them these little things like these this information that I've gained over the years as well. One of the things that I kind of like. I mean, it's not a huge part of the industry. One of the things I kind of disliked was certain people would hold back on information to basically because they're too scared that they will like give away too much. But then it's just kind of like if you don't do that, you can't teach the next generation about how amazing this thing is as well, and they need to pass on that information and do that kind of thing. And I will tell people like a lot of things as well, and if they absorb it, they absorb it. If they don't, then it's fine as well. And I enjoy and I adore it when people actually absorb that information. I've had a couple of people that have been working with me under me like from the last few years who've like picked up on everything that I've like she said, and it's like it's amazing to see them thrive. But like I wouldn't have it as like if people ask me about it, then I will sit there and actually talk to them about it. And it's like the same like it's like I would rather hold a dinner party at mine and then tell people how I would actually cook something, and then go and say I want to do this. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it more than anything else. I think it's we need more people being interested and being able to pick up that information and go with it and do what they do. I mean, it's like I'd rather entertain like 20 drunken people at my own bar and tell them how to make a Sazerac while they're all smashing bottles of beer all over the bar because I think that's more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you probably remember it more as well afterwards. Oh. Yeah, there's a running theme here. It's mostly about me getting smashed with people and having fun rather than running business. But that's the way I am. So, oh my God, seriously, it's like I have missed being in a bar. One of over the last year in London as well, I frequented this bar in Mayfair called Sexy Fish. I don't know if you
Mhm.
ever heard of it at all.
Mm.
Um, sorry, yeah. It's an amazing bar, massive Japanese whiskey collection as well. But after work, I'd usually finish whenever I was doing the daytimes, and I'd go there and I would get a Sazerac and a beer. And over time, the bartenders knew me enough to call it the Syafiera Boilermaker. I think that's what they called it, or they just called it the Boilermaker as well, because obviously a Boilermaker is whiskey and a beer. But basically, the reason why I ordered beer why I ordered a beer was because I'd ordered the beer to drink whilst I was waiting for my Sazerac. So it just kind of like just turned into this like cocktail thing that I had for a while. So
I will say, give me the Syafiera special.
Boilermaker, yeah, basically. I didn't realize it's. I think it was 6 months down the line when they actually said, "Oh, is it the hair Boilermaker?" It's like what? So it was. That was quite special. That was quite special to me, but also made me realize like maybe I'm a bit of an alcoholic. So no, it was like yeah.
Hey, you do you, okay? You do you.
So many people have said that to me.
We're not only breaking stereotypes, okay? We're not only breaking stereotypes, we're breaking the rules. All right?
Absolutely.
They never write nothing interesting or stories about boring people. It's about people that break the rules.
Absolutely. Like the whole rule breaking thing as well is like, I do find it hilarious. People are always surprised when I pipe up and start talking about cigars as well, because I don't, in certain places as well, I try not to, like, I don't want to draw attention to the fact that I'm a woman who smokes cigars and drinks fucking hard whiskey. But at the same time, it's like, I want to give my opinion because I want women who, like me, may be scared of talking about things like that because they're scared of like being pointed out as someone who just does it because they're trying to gain attention. It's like, I absolutely enjoy Michelin star restaurants. I enjoy, finding different bars, like little dive bars as well. I enjoy discovering these little things, and more women should be comfortable with talking about that. It's like, it shouldn't be like just a guy thing, which I still don't understand in this day and age why it's just a guy thing. Do you know what I mean?
Actually,
they
could learn a little few things from us here and there with all this, because it's a well-known fact scientifically that women have more developed sensories than men.
I think we're more sensitive in certain areas, yeah.
Smell, texture, yes, we do. It's not to brag. It's not about that. It's not saying that women are better than men. Nothing like that. No, seriously. It's just been scientifically proven. So
did not know that.
So even more, it's much more important to, yes, have women involved, actively involved, giving their input about this whole experience, because we're going to capture certain notes and nuances that then maybe someone else or the male gender will not pick up on. And not only have more women smoking cigars, but more women cigar blenders.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got made aware of Indiana Ortez from Psycho Cigar. She did the Nicaraguan blend, I think, Nicaraguan Porter blend. So my friends, there's Roy Sommer, who's the UK ambassador for Davidoff as well. He was over in Nicaragua recently, and he went to see Indiana Ortez, who is like one of the most amazing cigar blenders ever as well. They tried her Nicaraguan blend. That was awesome.
She's nominated as Woman of the Year for 2021, together with Karen Berger.
Woo!
You have Karen Berger also, that she has her own line of cigars.
Yeah. We should be celebrating all of them, but also realizing that we celebrate them from their merit, not just because of the gender as well, but she's good, she's amazing within her own right. So it's just like that's something we definitely need to pick up on. But one of the biggest things as well that I didn't realize was I was having a chat with a few friends, and I was having a chat with a few friends, and apparently we've not had a female in Cuba. We've not had a female cigar sommelier who's yet won the cigar sommelier award for Habanos or for Cover Cuba. So we need to start breaking that. It might not. I don't think it's me for a very long time until I actually get to a point where I'm ready. But it has to be someone. You have to have a woman who actually gets into that, because there are so many women with much potential to actually get into this industry. It's just that they're scared of the male counterparts as well. I think we need more women who do it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, me personally, I already encountered a little bit of that in the industry, but it was just a one incident. For the most part, I would say 90%, both female and male have been very welcoming and supportive of what I'm doing with my live shows, with my hosting events.
You've been great. You've been amazing.
Because it doesn't benefit me. I mean, it benefits all of us. Okay, it benefits the industry, and it gives also both the cigar world and the spirits, the distilled spirits world, the opportunity to come together and make something wonderful. Exactly. I mean, I guess that one of the takeaways for me for 2020 with the shutdown and going virtual and everything, that's how my live stream started. And a lot of people started that way as well during quarantine. Mm-hmm. Whoever is today is what? The 22nd of January, 2021, is still having a show. Yeah. A live stream podcast about cigars and spirits and still doing it today. Those are the real ones. Those are the ones that have the passion, that are serious, that they walk the talk. They're committed to the community. They're committed to providing that experience and sharing with everyone, because the industry needs it, and it needs it more now than ever, for sure. Exactly. Some others did it because they were bored or another means to get something or whatever, and that's fine. But in the long run, there's a lot of work involved in doing this, and you need to be truly committed, but you have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, it's just not
exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's like with like my Instagram account, it's just like I opened it in like 2008, and it's only this year that I've actually started to really seriously get into cigars as well. And the funny thing is, I had a friend who actually messaged me saying at first he thought that I was just getting into it because of the Instagram. And then once I started like posting more detailed descriptions, and like, I mean, I think I got really into one cigar, and I just literally wrote like this 2-page description, and it's just like, you can't make that shit up. You know what I mean? You can't sit there, and it's just like, I've literally gone through 2 hours of notes and just condensed them into as much space as possible. You can't make that shit up. And just like, people need to get more into that as well. I do it for the Instagram likes, because everyone has a little bit of, thing that they want to do. But at the same time as well, for me personally, my Instagram account is where I can post pictures of my cigars and also a description of it. I love, it's just like, I saw someone post up a picture saying that they had basically tasted lemon cheesecake in one cigar, and I thought, thank you. That's exactly the description one. Pandora, like I think you spoke to quite a while back as well. Her descriptions are amazing. They're so different. They're so like vibrant as well. And it makes you, every time she says something, it makes you think about what you're trying to smoke and taste and smell. And that's where I want to be as well. So, I mean, like the last couple of posts, I've been a little bit cheeky. So
that's okay. I've been a little cheeky myself as well. Yeah. I mean, and you're right. I mean, you're posting or whatever. I mean, there has to be a balance. It does take a lot of time, like you said. And you end up with a thesis, actually, writing on Instagram.
And it's the way it should. Yeah.
But
it's the way it should be as well.
Not everybody has the time to sit down and read the whole thing, But it's important. It's important to share the experience, what it is, what it has.
Yeah. I mean, like there was I think there was on Facebook as well. I'm part of this discussion group, and somebody basically put a message up saying, um, do any of you actually get the flavors of cigars? And I think the question was, it's just like, do you pick up on these flavors that everyone else is talking about? And I think what he meant was, it's just like he enjoys cigars and he really loves the flavors, but he doesn't pick up on the flavors that everyone else has. Now, so, like cigars as well as food as well as drink is all subjective as well. When it comes to flavors, it's all about experience for me. It's just like my background, I'm Malaysian, so it's like I've tasted a lot of food that are very specific flavors as well, and those things have been picked up like recently as well as like trendy flavors. But because at the same time as well, I pick up on a lot of nuanced flavors as well that people don't usually get, because I've tasted those or tasted or smelt those kind of things because of my job and because of my background. And the thing people need to realize is, you don't have to be experienced. If you enjoy something, you enjoy something. You don't have to be bogged down by everyone else finding a flavor that you've never tasted before. That's what I mean. If you enjoy it, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you don't. It's not an elite group. Some people are more aware of their taste buds and the texture in the mouth. Then that sounds really weird. then sorry. Then other people as well, and that should that should. Sorry, that should never be like a thing that we say. The Sazeracs might have gotten into my head at the moment. Sorry.
Yeah. But
what I'm trying to say is like
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I think you mentioned as well, but I think you mentioned as well about like being a super taster. For me, I don't think I'm a super taster. I feel like what I am is that I'm aware of my own taste buds, and I've got like a large dictionary in my head, a large thesaurus in my head to describe things as well. So it's like years ago, I remember that there's this red wine from South Africa that has a flavor of eucalyptus. And then recently I had a cigar that had a very menthol minty flavor, but it was close to eucalyptus as well. And I can target that flavor profile because I've had it before. Now, somebody else might say it's like, it's a bit different. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I understand that completely, but that doesn't mean that their opinion is obsolete. Their opinion is still valid. It's just, they don't have that memory in their head. So yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that I have covered in other interviews. It's interesting. I love doing this when I speak. I have the opportunity to speak with women from different parts of the world. You're in the UK. I've spoken with Anastasia from Greece, obviously Pandora from UK, from Brazil twice already, with Silvana and with Mika. So it is interesting to have, because we all have exposed to, hold on just a moment. Oh. Okay, that's the big part.
Go on, sorry.
Part of
right in the middle of the screen.
What can I say? Anything can happen when it's a live stream podcast.
Anything goes.
Yeah, he wants to join in. Okay. And so having that background of what you're exposed to. So if someone is from India, although the spices, right, that they have in their food all the time, they will pick up something. This is by memory, something different than for me because I've not been exposed to it. Or if I have, it's not part of my culinary experience on a daily basis.
Background.
So that also plays a part on that.
You've actually pointed out something as well that was actually quite distinct. So it's just like from the small amount of people that I sold cigars to, people from Asian backgrounds usually go for Partagas, which is a big spicy blend as well. And when I had the Partagas recently, it basically tasted like there's loads of curry flavors, cinnamon, cardamom. You know what I mean? It's just like, and there's all flavors of there, and it's just obviously it's enjoyed by people in the Asian background because of the fact that they've had that flavor before. A lot of Southeast Asians as well. It's just like they enjoy stronger flavors as well. And Hoyo de Monterrey, it's like, I know I'm going for Cuban, but Hoyo de Monterrey, Partagas, they have these big spicy flavors to them as well. That's works well with our palate because we've eaten foods from that particular, from that particular background as well. And it's amazing. It's like it's like Spanish. So I know a lot of Spanish people who really like the big, full body flavors. I have a friend who loves padrons, and it's just like it makes sense because they're big. They've got Mediterranean flavors there. They've got spicy notes. You know what I mean? They've got big, bold flavors, and it's weird. There's almost like an anthropological map of who enjoys what cigars from each particular country. You know what I mean? So depending on on the food that they've actually smoked. And it's like the other aspect as well is like in the hospitality industry, a lot of chefs love their cigars because they taste so many different flavors that a cigar is almost second nature to them, because it's like, I love my flavors. I love cigars because the fact that there are so many different varieties of it as well, which I love. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's why it's like to the average person, cigars can be overwhelming, because if you're not from a culinary or hospitality background, you don't understand as much about. I mean, you should try to if you want to get into cigars, but it's not as big as understanding if you work in hospitality more than anything else. Sorry. So yeah, no. It's like if you like your coffee as well. Some people I know don't drink alcohol at all and enjoy the coffee, but they also absolutely enjoy the cigars. It makes a lot more sense. So I'm just like really nursing this now. It's pretty nice.
This is great. So just to close things up, we've done the cocktail. We spoke about the cocktail and the cigar and its blend. Spoken about you and your experience and your contribution to the industry and what you're planning on doing in the future. So I'm looking forward to that. My bucket list is yay long, because especially throughout the shutdown, the lockdown, before I did, but mostly with the shutdown, everybody went into social media more than ever. I have invites to go to Italy, to France, to Vietnam. I mean, the list is long, right? And then meeting so many wonderful brothers of the leaf, sisters of the leaf around the world. I mean, my vacation, traveling vacation, will be about that. Go to these cigar lounges.
Absolutely.
Visit all of you and just share that experience. Some people don't understand that. They're like, that's what I want. I want to visit a country, but enjoy their food, pair it with cigars, cocktails, all that all together. That for me is heaven. That is a true vacation. And that's how you actually get to know and experience the culture of that country. Okay? Don't be talking to me about going to a store, going shopping. No, I don't care about that. For me, it's about the consumption of trying to taste, experience what the culture is about.
Honestly, it's like it's like if you told me like 2 years ago I would be part of a community of people like around the world, I would tell you you're joking as well. It's just like since the first lockdown, like worldwide, I got to know people around America. I got to know someone from Canada. I know someone living in like a few people living in the Netherlands now. I've Malaysia as well. It's like my home country. It's just that I've got like not connections, but I've actually got somewhere where I can go there, and it's just kind of like I have now a plan to go to these places, not just enjoy the cigars, but enjoy the food, the drink as well. And I've got like a few like contacts basically where I can say, like, where do you recommend next? Where do I go? I mean, it's just like the cigars connect people because the fact we love tasting things different, we love experiencing new things. It's just kind of like it's exploded. I mean, 2-3 years ago, if you told me, it's just like, through my Instagram account, I would find these people, you in particular, Cynthia. It's like I thought that's not real. And it's just kind of like through cigars, I've just created so many new friends, people that I connect with, and it's just like, it's amazing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need to actually share as well. It's like, I am so grateful for the amount of people I've got to meet because of this particular, because of just a bunch of tobacco leaves that have been rolled into a tube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And now it's just like, I've got to meet a load of new people that I never thought I'd ever meet. All is just
Yeah.
as eccentric as I am. So I'm so grateful for it.
No, and I totally understand your feeling how when you're talking about it, because I feel the same way. I mean, I just opened my
Yeah.
page on Instagram, Mujeres y Humos, in August 10th. And I've met
Yeah.
so many wonderful people, both brothers of the leaf and sisters of the leaf.
Absolutely.
Already traveled for it. And I mean, it just keeps expanding. It's like an extension of a family. So it's a whole different experience
Absolutely.
that I've gained through the cigar community versus what I experienced with the spirit distilled world, which I do love and adore. But the process is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. And
Absolutely.
and I'm so glad that I did that expansion.
It's like, I don't think you'd ever experience the same thing if you walked into a random bar and just like, because it's like there's this weird nuance. Like when you meet someone in person, it's harder to actually break the ice first. But I think with Instagram, you've got everything there where it's just like, this says, I'm a cigar smoker. I enjoy this. I enjoy that. I don't enjoy this. I like this. I like this as well. And then it's just like, because you put yourself out there, you know, people will approach you, follow you, and then just like see your posts, and then they find out who you are through your particular profile. And it's
Mhm.
nice because just like, if they like you, if they don't like you, they will follow, unfollow, and just kind of like, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just like, it's weird. I mean, there's some instant gratification from getting likes, but for me, it's just like, I want to grow my profile organically, but at the same time, it's like, I still want to talk to people who've, you know, who I would never meet in real life. I've got a few like, you know, profiles which I speak to as well. And it's like, I've never met them. I don't know who they look like. I don't know what their real name is, but we talk about like, if I taste a Cuban cigar that's a limited edition, that's really hard to get hold of. So like, I've got like a handful of people who message me saying, well, I like this, but I didn't like this, but I didn't like it. And it's just kind of like, it's amazing. It's like, and
Mhm.
you know, it's like, if I saw them in a bar, I might never approach them, but on Instagram, it's like, I can talk to these people because it's like, we've opened up that conversation
Something in
completely
common.
just
Yeah.
from what we shared. And it's
Mhm.
amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. And I do agree with that. I've had the same experience. They go like,
Absolutely.
what do you thought about that? Do you like it? Did it? What? What's your take on it? Or they will make a recommendation. Well, if you like that,
Exactly.
then you will like this. So, I mean, that's amazing in itself. So, whoever is watching this, keep doing what you're doing. And if you've been wondering to
Please.
venture
Please.
into the cigar world, and I hope that we serve as an inspiration or motivation to explore. You will not regret it. It's actually it's more than an
Absolutely.
experience. You're walking into a world where you can also meet people, build connections, and even have great friendships and whatnot. So again, I would
Absolutely.
like to thank you, Syafiera, for joining us today. Thank you for taking that time.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and it's been a blast. I enjoyed
I
it so much
enjoyed it.
because everybody's different. Everybody brings their own style into it.
Yeah.
And to
It's the
share
way,
that
yeah,
with
it is.
everybody else around the world, that is amazing. Like some friends of mine say,
Absolutely.
phenomenal. That's another word that's been buzzing around a lot lately.
Phenomenal.
But it is great. Thank you
That's
so much,
awesome.
Syafiera, for joining us. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure you finish
I
it
will
up.
do.
But that's
See.
great.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you all. Thank you, Syafiera. Have a great one. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.